Eel and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be doing my first ever review of a game. And today's game, the first game I'm going to be doing is not a paid game. It's actually free right now on Xbox Gold. If you're subscribed to that service you'll get it for free until I think it's July 16th. So I'm going to explain why this is an amazing deal for a game. It's a very good game. It's not the best game I've played, but it's definitely the best free game I've played from Xbox Gold. So I've got a few things to say before we start the video. The first is that I've recently been quite ill, and I've not really been able to upload too many videos. So that's kind of why I might sound a bit weird. That's why I'm sounding a bit weird. So yeah. And also I'm not going to be able to upload too much, in the future, too much right now, because I'm going away to Wales in a few weeks, and I've got, it's the summer and I'm spending quite a bit of time with my family, so I've not got a load of time to do videos, and also, yeah, there's just some other things going on, it's making it pretty hard to record videos. And hopefully, and also the third thing which I've just remembered is that I will be getting a gaming PC soon, which will make the videos will be able to be a lot better quality. So better than right now. I'm doing it on the Xbox with my laptop, but I'm soon going to be doing it on a gaming PC, so it's going to be a lot better frame rates, a lot better resolution and all that sort of stuff. So that's going to be a big improvement. And that's all I really have to say right now. So let's get into the video. So first things first, I'm going to talk about the hacking, which is obviously the main focus of the game. The hacking is not quite as much as I thought. I thought you could do slightly more things than what you got, but it's still fine. You basically get mobile hacks such as the blackout, which you can craft and use. You get hacks which you can do in your car or just walking around, such as messing with the traffic lights and blowing up steam pipes. And you can also view people's profile, which you'll need to use for finding targets and like VIPs and stuff like that in the game. And you can do things like blow up fuse boxes, as you've just seen me do there. So it's overall not the most varied hacking as I thought, but it's still pretty good. So the second thing I'm going to talk about is the gunplay. It's pretty standard third-person shooter gunplay. I think it's, in my opinion, a bit better than some other third-person shooter games, especially some other Ubisoft third-person shooter games. So it's one of the better third-person shooter games that Ubisoft have done in terms of gunplay. But I mean, I prefer first-person, but I think it's still good. It doesn't give you too much aim assist in that, so it's realistic enough. It just kind of puts a white dot in the middle of your screen. But overall it is solid gunplay, and not the best, but still very solid. Now I'm going to talk about driving, which, since it is a pretty massive open world, you really need cars to get around. Otherwise, I mean, walking just takes ages. And running. I mean, even running is not that much faster than walking. So, you definitely need cars. You get all sorts of cars. You get trucks. You get heavy vehicles such as fire engines and ambulances and lorries. You get sports cars, which are not they're not like Lamborghinis and that. There's actually a separate section for things like Lamborghinis and Ferraris. They're not called that, but they basically are. There is a performance section, which is where all the Lamborghinis and things like that are. I'm actually driving a performance car right now. You there are also like there's even motorcycles in the game, so there are a lot of cars to choose from. You earn money by hacking into people. You hack people's bank account details, and then you can earn money. And the money you use to buy cars and weapons, but mainly buying cars is what I use it for. Because the weapons you can find off enemies, so it's pretty easy to find them. So, yeah, you can unlock the cars by, I think you can unlock the budget cars, which are just kind of the civilian cars, by just like getting in them, and I think that unlocks the budget cars. But now I'll talk about the destructibility of the cars. You can destroy things such as road signs, some barriers. You can like drive, as you've already seen, your cars can get destroyed. Like the bonnet can fall off. You can get scratches on the side. But what I like about the driving in this game is it's pretty well balanced. The only annoying thing is the handbrake. There's no handbrake. But what I like is the fact that cars don't just get destroyed instantly. Some other games, the cars are basically, they can barely take any damage before they're all like shattered, and only if you go around crazy driving into buildings and that, then it's not going to get damaged too badly. It's pretty easy to keep a well conditioned car unless you're going on loads of car chases and things like that. But overall, I think it's very solid and fun driving, and you're definitely going to need to use it in the game, so I'm glad that it is solid and good. So now I'm going to talk about the story, which surprisingly for me was one of the biggest criticisms of the game. People didn't think it was a great story, but I actually thought it was a pretty good story. It's not the most amazing one I've ever played, but it's still a very, very good story. I really liked it. It really immersed me, cause you get story missions and side missions such as what I'm doing right now, which is gang hideout. You can get little other objectives like crimes you need to solve. They're kind of mini story missions. Well, they're kind of missions, but they're mini like missions. And I like the story. It's good size. It's small for an open world game in my opinion, but it's not tiny. I mean, it took me 20 hours to complete the story, and I'm not the best player. On normal mode, I completed in 20 hours. That's with some extra exploring in that, but still, that's a decent like story. About 15-hour stories for if you're a skilled player, it's going to take you about 15 hours. So I thought it was a good length. The actual plot is pretty good. I think it really immerses you. Because, for example, I'm not gonna warning of spoilers, but there's one point where you need to rush to save someone, like race in a car to save someone. I was really immersed in that point. There's a few points where you need to do things like that, and I was just so immersed in them. I was not wanting the people to die, even though they do. I was immersed in some points, but other points, it was just repetitive over and over again. A few missions you would repeat in the next mission. Oh, it would just be annoying doing it like over and over again. But there are a lot of missions. There are 5 acts, and the acts are basically like separate parts, like a chapter to the story. Each act is basically a chapter. And there are 5 acts. 3 of them have about 8 missions in them. One has 15, and Act 5, which is the last, only has 1 mission. So it's a lot of missions, a long story, immersive at some points, but other points it can be a bit bone dry and not very good. But basically, the story is a good part, and if you get the game for free, which I recommend you should get it, I would play through the story, but don't be expecting an amazing. It is a AAA game, but don't be expecting the most stunning story you've ever played. It's not amazing, but it's still a good story. I enjoyed it. Now I'm going to talk about the skill tree. It is a good skill tree. I think it's one of the better ones I've played in games, especially Ubisoft games. It's not confusing, but it's not as simple as, say, the Fallout 4 one, which I thought was a simple, easy one. They've got 4 sections: combat, hacking, driving, and there is what's the other one? I think it's craftable items. Yeah, it's craftable items. So there are annoyingly different sizes. For example, the driving and crafting items are tiny, but the hacking one's huge, and the combat is huge. And you get skill points, and you just use them on skills. It's pretty basic, and it's just a solid skill tree. What else can you ask? Next thing I'm going to talk about is crime. Crime is a big part of this game. You can be good or bad. There's a reputation system, which I think works quite well. If you do things such as stop crimes happening, then your reputation will go up. And if you do bad things such as go on a mass murder spree, shooting people, it goes down, obviously, because why would you be a protector? Why would you be a good guy if you're killing people? So, you basically get reported from a few things. If you're holding your gun out, or like shooting, or obviously the obvious ones such as stealing and shooting and that, you're gonna get reported, which you can stop by either shooting or taking down the person who's got the phone, phoning the police. And then if you don't succeed at taking down them before they phone the police, this thing comes up on the map. It's like a yellow CTOS scanner, and CTOS is basically the way of the police detecting where you are, and the police will come after you, and you can go in car chases and hopefully escape. But if you kill police officers, it gets worse. And not many people know about this, I don't think, but you can actually be arrested if you only do something like have your gun out and then you just don't drive away, don't try and do anything, or just drive away but then stop, and then you can be arrested rather than being shot to the death by the police officers. It's a good crime system, I think. I enjoy doing it, and I also like the reputation system. Overall, I think it's a very good crime system. And the very last thing I want to talk about is the open world. The open world is a varied open world. It is vast and varied. There are lots of different areas. It's obviously set in Chicago, so there's going to be a lot of buildings in that. But for example, right now you can see I'm driving through the woods. There are districts. One, for example, I've just entered Parker Square. You have to use C2S towers, which will unlock during the campaign, to get like access to the hack scenario. You'll be able to hack, but you can't access people's profiles and things like that. So you'll need to do that. The first district is Parker Square. You're not like confined to one district. Just because Parker Square is the first doesn't mean you're stuck there. You can obviously leave and do whatever you want. You can go to the hardest place in the game first, but you're gonna want to do like the story. So the open world, Parker Square is basically like it's not a busy town. It's kind of a nice. It's more like upmarket. It's nicer houses and things like that. The Loop, which is the center of the map, is the center of Chicago, and it is flooded with skyscrapers, apartment blocks, and everything. If you cause a blackout there, you literally can't see because there's no anything. Like, there's nothing else. The Mad Mile is quite like the Loop, but it's very similar actually. It's just more or less the same. It's just it's coast, and it's just basically a coastline, and it's got a bit more water things. And that in the Mad Mile, there is the wards, which kind of is a poorer area. It's where you'll find one of the gang bosses. It's a pretty poor area. It's not a rich place. And the Brendan Docks is basically the kind of industrial area. It's got a lot of factories. It's got obviously docks because it's Brendan Docks. And the last place I want to talk about is Pawnee, which is kind of a woods place. It's where I started off in this clip, and it is basically a wood. It's got a small town in it. It's actually not classed as part of Chicago, and I think it's fictional. I don't know about Pawnee. It might be a real part of Chicago, but it is the end of the video. I hope you have enjoyed. I will be doing more reviews. They'll not be frequent, but there will be more of them. But I hope you have enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe and comment down below if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next video.